Naka-meta 2 na naman tayo kasi ang daming drama. Hindi, ito yung issue ni Baron Geisler na, in fairness kay Baron Geisler, mukhang nag-graduate na siya recently sa college or something. Hindi ko alam yung latest. Don't worry, hindi ito yung drama na pinag-usapan natin. Ang drama po ay yung mga tao na nagmi-misunderstand ng mga pinopost ko or yung mga tao na tinitwist yung mga sinasabi natin ukol sa election. Okay? Ay. Ito binibigay natin ng lahat. Buong buo. Lahat na. All in na ako dito sa eleksyon. Binibigay ko ng lahat. So it really gets on my, pag may mga tao dyan na tinitwist na naman yung sinasabi natin or mini-misunderstand, nothing I do here ay ukol sa aking ego or whatever. Okay? Just to be very clear about this, lahat ng ginagawa natin dito ay para umangat yung antas ng diskurso ukol sa ating politika. Because ito ang isa sa pinakamalaking problema natin ngayon. Sa sobrang baba yung antas ng diskusyon, kung ano-anong junk food blogger, kung ano-anong kaewanan na analysis at kung ano-anong out of this world assumptions, studies, analytics, whatever, ay nagda-dominate ng political discourse natin. At for people like us, na devoting their lives to properly understanding the conduct of politics, the nature of politics, the struggle for democracy, not in one country, not in one era, but across time and space, ay hindi lang po ito nakaka-insulto, nakakabahala po. Nakakabahala po para sa amin yan. Na nakikita namin, ganito po ang antas na ating diskurso. Isang linggo na lang po, magkakaroon po tayo ng napakamahalagang desisyon. Ayan na, parang nagbabalagtasan lang tayo. Sorry, nasira yung momentum ko. Seryoso tayo. Walang ya. Sinira ko yung momentum ko. Ito, isang linggo na lang. Naku po, makasaysayan po ang magiging decision natin. Sabi ko nga, nung isang araw, ayun, ginagaya ko na tuloy yung isang politiko, ganun magsalita. Sinabi ko nga, nung isang araw, katulad ng sinabi ng aking ama, ng ating Ayan ta. Sorry, man. Balahura Balahura talaga. Ayusin mo, Richard. Ito, seryoso talaga ako. Ito po ay hindi biro sa akin. Seryoso ako. Bakit tayo mag-meta 1? Bakit tayo mag-meta 2? Bakit tayo lahat ng meta na yan? Dahil nga po, alam nyo kanina, back to back, nagsulat pa tayo, ukol pa dun sa trip ni Prime Minister Kishida ng Japan, sa ASEAN, lahat yan po ay ina-analyze po natin kasi nga marami tayong mga responsibilidad. Pero bakit nga tayo nagme-meta? Nagme-meta tayo kasi bigla na lang kung ano-anong nakikita natin dyan, ano-anong minamensahe sa atin, kung ano-anong nakikita ko online, nasasaktan po tayo. Kasi eto na nga, napakaganda yung intention. Ang gusto mo mangyari dito, iakyat yung antas ng diskusyon, tapos they'll take that against you. Ay, ito pong mahirap. Or, i-twist po yung sinasabi natin. Hindi po pwedeng ganito. Kaya ako po, drama yan sa akin. Drama talaga yan sa akin. So, kanina, kung makikita nyo nag-post ako sa Twitter in a moment of emotional sincerity, let me put it that way. Ito yung sinabi ko Itong sinabi ko. At makikita nyo yung ano yung sinasabi ko. Sabi ko ito mag-English po tayo Huwag kayong mag-ano sa akin dahil mag-English po tayo. Kasi nag-English po tayo pagdating sa Twitter. At kahit ganyan ang Tagalog natin, ako po, na lalaitin nyo naman ako ito mga kameta, itong sinabi ko Folks, survey or Google Trends or whatever, forget about it. This is what counts. Fight the good fight and keep the faith. Honor all the really devoted volunteers and all those struggling and sacrificing for a better future. Ayan, nag-English tayo. Ayan na naman. Inano na naman ako nito. Bubulin na naman ako. Ayan, mag nagre-reply na sa akin. Ayan na. Kasi may pinost din naman ako kanina sa Facebook na mukhang na-misconstrue din. Okay? But yung sinabi yata ng aking kaibigan, my kindred spirit, my comrade, my compadrino, okay? Leloy Claudio, na nasa UC Berkeley po. So kahapon, sabi ko, di ba, hindi tayo natulog ng maayos kasi hanggang 2-3 a.m. ay nag-uusap kami back to back. Kasi po, nasa-shock kami sa antas ng diskusyon. Ito po kasi, isang linggo na lang eleksyon, tama? Okay? Ang sasabihin mo sa mga supporters mo ay hindi kung ano-anong kaiwanan. Ang sabihin mo sa supporters mo, come what may, to the end of the world, we will fight the good fight and we keep the faith. Andyan po yan sa Biblia natin. Yung kaalagaan na to keep the faith, to fight the good fight, mahalaga yan. At the end of the day, dyan po tayo. Diyan po tayo ma-judge bilang isang tao. Did we fight the good fight? Did we keep the faith in difficult times? At para sa akin po, ito po kasi marami pong nag-ano sa akin, maraming nagme-message sa atin. Ayan na, emotional na tayo eh. Kinokontrol ko na lang sarili ko, anyamet. Na naman mga meta 2, tas nag-emotional na tayo. By pointing out the facts, we're not trying to demoralize people. We're not trying to discourage people from fighting the good fight. What I'm saying is, you cannot create a movement for change and democracy based on false hopes and faulty analysis. At this is not about me. This is not about us. Who cares about me and us and our ego or whatever? My goodness, you see, paano ko explain to? Hindi, alam ko paano ko explain to. Ganito kasi, the best way to create a strong movement, whether administration ka, sa labas ka ng administration, ay ito. You build a movement based on sincere and really internalized set of values, convictions, and commitment. Tingnan nyo. Mamaya ko nang balikan yung isa dyan, ha? Anong sinasabi na to? Ayan talaga. Ayan tayo. May mga trolls na naman sa... Balikan kita mamaya. Ayan. Bahalang Diyos sa inyo. Napakaseryosong usapan, mag-e-epal pa kayo. Di ba ito yung sinabi ko, guys? Kaya mahal na mahal ko kayo eh. And I mean it Kasi andito pa rin kayo, nakikinig sa akin, even when, classroom hindi cognitive resonance ang approach natin. Even if nagkakaroon ng cognitive dissonance, andito pa rin tayo. Nasaan yung notebook ko? Andyan yung mga pinag-aralan natin kanina. Alright? Andito pa rin kayo kasi alam nyo naman ang ginagawa natin dito. Gusto po natin na umakyat yung antas ng diskusyon. Ito po yung ginagawa natin. So, balikan ko tong issue na ito, no? So, for me, di ba katulad ng sinabi natin the other week pa, no? Win or lose, whichever side you are, or lose or win, okay, let's put it that way para hindi mo kang ano. Ito you need a movement behind you. A sincere movement of people being there because naniniwala po sila dun sa sinasabi mo. Naniniwala po sila dun sa values mo. Naniniwala sila dun sa journey that you're offering them. Naniniwala sila dun sa destinasyon. Right? Tignan niyo po si Yeso Cristo. Tignan niyo yung struggle ni Yeso Cristo. Diba? Napakahirap and all. But because sinabi niya yung katotohanan, literally the truth, even if konti lang yung mga disciples sa una, it became a universal religion. Because any movement built on the truth, right, on sincere commitment, with really devoted followers and disciples, that movement, it may not succeed today, it may not succeed tomorrow, but it has a future. It has a future. Kaya sabi ko, tignan niyo yung buhay ni Jesucristo. Ilan po ang naniwala sa Kanya sa una? Even after na-crucify po siya, ilan po ang naniwala sa Kanya? It took some time, but eventually, from St. Paul onwards, nakita natin, it becomes a universal religion. Because po, it's a movement built on truth. It's a movement built based on a strong foundation. And kasama dyan yung mga devoted disciples and followers and all. So, sabihin natin, ikaw ang supporter ni Leni. Leni, president, not president, she needs a strong movement. Dahil po, kung wala siyang strong movement, even if presidente siya, sasabotahin siya. Hindi naman mawawala yung trolls. Hindi naman mawawala yung mga bloggers. Di naman mawawala yung mga trapos. Di naman mawawala. Alam niyo na. You know all the obstacles na magkakaroon dyan, even if Leni becomes the president. So she will need a strong movement based on proper analysis, sincere values, not false hopes, not faulty analysis, but sincere hopes, a realistic assessment of the reality. Then she can have a strong movement. And if you have a strong movement, even if hindi ka naging presidente, you will be a force to reckon with. You will be a force to reckon with. Naku po, hindi ko kailangang mag-lecture sa inyo. Tignan yung buong mundo. Maraming tao hindi naging presidente, but because they had strong movements, they were able to influence, forget about presidents, they were able to influence the course of empires in history. Kaya po, ang ginagawa po natin dito is, ayokong pumatol sa kung ano-ano dyan, dahil I believe the people deserve the truth, and the people should fight the good fight based on the truth. And when I question the strategy of a camp or not, it is precisely because I believe the volunteers deserve better. The volunteers deserve better. So sorry na lang dun sa mga ibang strategies, campaign strategies, hindi ko alam anong kaewanan yung strategies. You owe this to your volunteers and supporters. You owe this to them to do your job well. And if you have been criticized constructively, don't take it on your ego, take it to your heart. Baka naman. At hindi po katapusan ng mundo ang election natin next week. There is a day after. There is election after. So better learn your lessons. Kaya nga sabi ko, ang problema ng iba dyan, hindi sila nagkaroon ng sapat na post-mortem analysis after mga previous elections. Kahapon pa lang na-clarify ko na nothing is set in stone, nothing is final until it's over. Okay? And sabi ko nga, kung ikaw ay may isang Ferrari, sorry na lang, I always use this Italian reference, but sorry. Ikaw ay may isang Ferrari, sana naman yung driver. Diba? Medyo maayos yung ginagawa. Otherwise, sayang yung kotse mo. Sayang kotse. Andyan yung technology, everything, lahat. Pero kung yung driver mo ay ewan, sayang Ferrari mo. So you may have all of these great volunteers. You may have all of these endorsements from... You may have a great candidate, but you have to have the right strategy too. You have to drive the Ferrari with the best possible drivers. I'm sorry I'm saying this. I know some people are going to get pissed off with me again. But I'm telling you, I'm doing this because I believe the volunteers deserve better. And as I said, kung pro-Leni ka, you would like Leni to have a solid, strong movement, not based on false hopes, not based on faulty analysis, but based on sincere conviction. Yung mindset na win or lose, I am with you. Ito po talagang tinuturo sa atin ng Biblia. Ito po yung buhay ni Jesucristo. Di ba? Yung disciples na yan, eventually, di ba? Because of their faith and conviction and devotion, they spawn in universal faith. Now, this is supposed to be an inspiration, right? Obviously, we're not trying to draw parallels here, right? Of course. I'm just saying, you need a strong movement for liberal democracy. Because ito po yung wala. Okay. Kagabi ito mga kameta. Seryoso tayo ngayon. Wala na yung mga adlibs na. Wala na yung mga Andrew Ito mga kameta Itong inisip ko nung isang gabi. Kasi, aminin ko, minsan, kahit pagod na pagod ako sa buong araw, sa gabi, mapapaisip ka talaga naku po, ano mangyayari sa atin nito? Ano ang mangyayari sa atin? Lalo na, I'm getting all of these interview requests, literally all, you can think about every major channel, every major outlet, or they are interviewing me. And you can imagine yung mga tanong sa akin. At you can imagine ano yung nagiging feeling ko when I explain, di ba? Na potentially itong mangyayari. Ayan, na-distract na ako Dapat may... So, yung na-realize ko nisang gabi ay ito Ito mga kameta Ito mga kameta. It took how many years to end the Marcos dictatorship? Okay? How many years? How many years andun si Marcos? So more than 20 years in power, right? 21 years. Now, after nanalo siya ng re-election, so 1969, right? Few years later, nag-declare siya ng martial law. So from the martial law years until bumaksak siya, you're talking about 1.5 decade, right? It took 1.5 decade to end that dictatorship. In the meantime, so much happened in the country. The supporters will say so much good, but all the historians, lahat ng matitinong tao na nag-aaral, they know the other side, right? Now, pinag-usapan na natin yan. So, when bumalik ang demokrasya, or yung pangako ng demokrasya, or yung potensyal para magkaroon ng demokrasya, ano po ang ginawa natin? Anong ginawa natin? Yes, in fairness, God bless Corazon Aquino, we instituted a liberal constitution, liberal democratic constitution. We introduced democratic politics and all. I want to also add that that's just the first step. That's just the, kumbaga, kung Ferrari to, ito lang yung labas ng Ferrari. Ang mahalaga po dyan is yung engine. Yung makina. At that's exactly what has been missing dun sa mainstream liberal democratic politics natin. Yung makina. So we had all of the coverings. Magandang covering, red coloring, Ferrari, ganda ng... Pero yung makina ang wala. Anong proof? Anong proof? 70% na ating kongreso ay political dynasties. 40 richest families po ay nag-take home ng 76% of newly created growth. I know these numbers by heart because they're so shocking. 76% ng newly created growth nung 2011 napunta sa 40 richest family. Land reform po. Ano po ang nangyari sa land reform? Ano nangyari sa land reform? The list is long. The list is long. I'll give you other shocking numbers. Tingnan mo yung ating judicial system. How many cases a single judge has to handle? Tingnan mo yung budget sa korte natin. Tingnan mo yung ilan pre-trial detainees. Mga tao na never convicted nandun sa prison. Senator of this republic, 5 years na nandun sa preso, walang conviction. So, ito yung nangyari po. Ginawa natin yung magandang labas ng kotse, magandang sofa, lahat ng ganon. Hindi inayos yung makina. Hindi na-maintain yung makina. Hindi nilagay yung proper oil. Alam ko, mahirap mag-maintain ng mga mamahalin na kotse. Pero kaya nga hindi ka bibili ng mamahalin na kotse. Iba na yung formali. Pero kung bibili ka, paninindigan mo na yan. If you have a democratic revolution, paninindigan mo na yan. Hindi pwede yung bagong constitution na tayo, bahala na. No. Paninindigan mo yan. And for that, you need a strong movement. Hindi yung every 10-20 years mag-i-et sa revolution ka. You need a sustained movement. You need a committed movement. You need to reform different state institutions with a movement. Kaya nga po, nawawala na po ng pag-asa, nawawala na po ang tiwala ng tao even sa konsepto ng demokrasya. Di ba? At kasama dyan, ba't yung middle class and upper class? Kaya nga, pinakita ko yung numbers sa inyo na even yung middle class and upper class po, marami sa kanila, ang hinahanap po nila ay disciplinarian, hindi liberal democratic leader. Hindi po nila inaidolo si Lincoln. Nandito. Hindi nila iniidolo si FDR. Ang iniidolo po nila, not even Reagan. Not even Trump. Ang iniidolo nila. Sino? Yung mga Lee Kuan Yew. Alright. Na obviously hindi, not necessarily liberal democrat. Ang iniidolo po nila yung naging dictator sa South Korea. Yung China or whatever. Or Putin or whatever. I mean, it took us how many? 10, 14, 15 years to bring back our chance at democracy. Once you had the chance, what did we do over the past 30 years or so? Well, ako ay pinanak ako after EDSA. Okay? So, right? So, this era has coincided essentially with me coming of age, right? Let's not take our democracy for granted. Let's not take our freedoms for granted. I've been in North Korea. Believe me, I've been in North Korea. Well, you don't believe me, go and Google it. You can see it. I've been in China. I've been in countries na hindi talaga democratic. Ayaw mo yan. Kahit may pera ka, anong silbi? Tignan mo yung China ngayon sa Shanghai. Ilan weeks na yung lockdown nila. Kahit may pera ka, mayaman kang ganda ng apartment mo. Pag yung government mo hindi democratic, wala kang karapatan. Wala kang rights. Your money cannot help you. Useless. Walang freedom walang democracy. At the same time, we need socio-economic development. Kailangan natin iangat yung level ng edukasyon, ng living standards of our people. Punta ka sa mga probinsya natin. Yung kahirapan po, panahon ni Marcos, andun pa rin. Ang dami pa rin ang mahirap sa atin. Yung slums natin, ilan percentage ng Manila slum area? Ilan pamilya po ay walang access sa matinong bahay. Proper electricity, ang daming jumper. Tuloy tayo nagbabayad ng mga nag-jumper. Pinabayaan kasi, at hinayaan na yung makina po ng ating demokrasya. Democracy, if it's a functioning thing, it's a beautiful thing. A democracy is as beautiful as a Ferrari. Ayan na naman tayo Matatroll na naman ako nito It is. Let's say, isang lalaki para sa Ferrari ang best, alright? Para sa akin, that's how beautiful democracy is. It's like a Ferrari. Okay, fine, it's like a Tesla. Kasi ayaw ko ng kay Elon Musk kaya hindi ko nagamit yung Tesla. But if you don't maintain it, lalo yung makina, walang saysay na rin yan. And when you have a nice car, a Ferrari, whatever, you have to have the proper driver also. So, mahusay ang kandidato mo, ang dami mong volunteers, ang dami mong endorsement, you owe it to them na ayusin yung strategy and all of that. As I said, as I promised, tomorrow, marami tayong pag-usapan na good things about this election. So, ayaw ko i-preempt yan. So, I had to issue another Meta 2 clarification kasi nakikita ko na naman na nakakaroon na naman ng mga mini-misconstrue na naman. Kasi guys, alangan naman din ako magsalita at all and all. I know that's exactly what gusto nung iba, di ba? Huwag ka na magsalita. So what? Okay, let's say hindi ako magsasalita. Okay? Okay. Wala Meta, wala Heydarn. Okay. Kamusta yung antas ng diskusyon natin, ha? If not for our Meta, would you have known all of these things that we are discussing? Data, studies, malalaman nyo ba yung mga natin? Mga path dependency analysis. No. Most likely, pupunta kayo sa mga channels or bloggers who will reinforce your cognitive resonance. But what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Ang ginagawa ko po dito is, at the risk of turning off a lot of you, ay, si Darian, bayaran yan, whatever yan. But, excuse me, no one can afford me, especially. Ito na naman tayo. Excuse me, no one can afford me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Si Darian, ayaw ko nang pag-usapan yung H-index ko sa Google Scholar. Mamaya na yun, So, mukhang may bago na tayong tradition, no? When we try to end things, we go to novels, right? So, nung isang gabi po, Killing a Mockingbird po ang pinag-usapan natin. Yung novel na hindi ko pa tapos, by the way, inaayos ko pa. At it's always different when you read something in older years. Medyo zaddy ka na. Medyo zaddy years. Oo. Because you appreciate it different. Yung iba kasi, pinilit ka lang sa eskwela na basahin yan. Once you read it with all the experience and struggles in life, it has a different meaning. So remember, we discussed that, right? Ano yung sinabi ni Atticus? Right? That one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is what? Your personal conscience. Diba? Right. Love na love ko yan. No, love na love ko yan si Atticus. What a, wow. Man of principle, right? He didn't only go against majority, he went against even the opinion and prejudice of his children. Now, let me introduce you someone else who really has inspired me throughout the years. At alam ko, pati yung aking kapangga, kaibigan na si Leloy Claudio, malaki rin ang respeto niya dito. No? In fact, he encouraged me to read this beautiful biography of this person I'm going to introduce you, along with two other characters. So these are French figures, right? A novelist, a politician, a thinker. No? The Burden of Responsibility. It's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book. And, that book really influenced me a lot, my ethics. When you have some access to some knowledge or some perspective, you owe it to your people, right, to try to share that. Kaya po si Buddha, eto na, meron akong book dyan kay Buddha, kay Karen Armstrong, napakagandang libro po yan, basahin niyo yan. Buddha, when he got his nirvana, he could have just said, forget about the algo na, bahala na kay dyan. But no, he went back to share his enlightenment with people, right? Now, hindi ko naman sinasabi na level tayo ng ganito. I'm just saying, when you know a little bit in life, because you had the privilege of getting the education, exposure, having the time, yung sacrifice ng family ko, yung mommy ko, yung sacrifice nila para magkaroon ako ng konting time, medyo may pang, may pang aircon, may pang internet, may pang meta, may pang wifi. Syempre, naghirap yung parents ko noon, di ba? Ay, wala pa akong wifi nun. Pero may pang aircon na lang kahit sana. Baguio boy, nahirapan ako. All of these people sacrifice for me to reach a certain level of intellectual, let's say, maturity. I'm not saying I'm super good. Of course, I have to learn a lot. So, I have this obligation to return it in my own little ways, no? At itong meta natin, minsan naman, mga 500,000 naman yung ating views. But, it's still a humble effort. So, ito yung tao na napakalaking respeto ko sa kanya. Ito po. Mahal na mahal ko po tong tao na to. May picture ito ako dito sa bahay ko, etc. Si Albert Camus. This guy, man, represent. Sobrang taas ng respeto ko sa kanya, no? If you read his novels, and in fact, I read his novel, The Plague, La Peste ba yan in French? Just before the pandemic. Oh my goodness. Binasa ko siya noong November 2019 and biglang January may pandemic na, walang ya. Ito if you read his The Stranger, The Plague, The Fall, you read his novels and also his philosophical works, no? And essays. There's one fundamental message that he keeps on sending. And that's it. And that's this, no? Ito yung sinasabi ni Albert Camus, no? I'm not gonna go into the absurdism and existentialism and all of that, alright? Wala tayong time. Gabi na, matulog na tayo. Or, trabaho pa ako, magkakape pa ako. I need to go into second phase of my work for this day. Let me read you some of his quotes first, para you kind of have a flavor of what this guy is all about. Brilliant. That's just this guy is it's a beautiful writing, right? His essays and all. Okay. One of the quotes I really like from him is this from Albert Camus. Real generosity toward the future lies in giving all to the present. And I just felt this is just perfectly appropriate to our situation right now. If you care about the future of the Philippines, right? If you care about the future of your people, if you care about democracy and freedom and liberty and every good thing that every good person with good conscience should stand for, you should give everything you got right now to these elections and to our struggles in this era. So to use again what Camus said, real generosity towards the future lies in giving all to the present. At yun po yung ginagawa natin dito. And the beauty of his novels and his philosophical works are not that good. So Aron and some of the other philosophers called it puerile. But his novels are brilliant. And the basic message in novels, actually his novels are all tragic. Very tragic. I mean, parang after mo, ano ba bro? Ano ba yan bro? Ano ba yan? Diba? They're all tragic, but the message is this. Fight the good fight. Even if there's no assurance of victory, fight the good fight because it's that matters the most. Do the right thing because it's the right thing. Not do the right thing because it's what rewards you or it's what pinakasigurado. And yes, speaking of elections, of course, winnability matters. Of course. This is my job. I discuss about the race and all of that. But even more important than winnability is to make choices that we can be proud about. May aminin ako sa inyo. May binoto ako, hindi ko sasabihin sino, na hindi nanalo. May binoto din ako, may nanalo. Hindi to 100%. Because I didn't decide based on surveys. I didn't decide based on sino na una sa surveys. I decided based on who I thought could be the best possible leader. Maybe he or she is not perfect now yet, but I saw the potential. Pinag-aralan ko, tinignan ko yung background. Ay, my future to. My future tong bata. Parang ganun. Or tong matanda, di ba? So some of my candidates lost. I knew they were gonna lose. So what? I don't care. I'm still gonna vote for them. Because I want to be proud of that choice. And I'll tell you what. I'm very proud of my choices in 2016. I'm very proud. I'm 100% proud of my choices in 2016. Despite everything, I'm also okay with my choices in 2010. The first time I got to vote. Na naging eligible ako to vote kasi 19 na yata ako or something. So choose someone that you can be proud of. Not because that person is sure to win based on surveys. In short, wag kang maging nakikiuso. Bandwagoners. Yan ang term ko sa kanila. Bandwagoners. Wag kang mag-bandwagoner. That is the least responsible thing we can do. Right? Now, I'm not saying just because someone is a front runner, don't vote for him or her. I'm just saying, don't vote for someone just because front runner yung person. Do you see the difference? Do you see there's a big difference? I'm not saying just because someone is a front runner, do not vote for that person. What I'm saying is that do not vote for someone just because he or she is a front runner. There's a big difference between these two. Yan po ang sinasabi natin. Kaya nga, love na love ko tong taong to. Kasi, God bless him, he taught me a lot. And this guy had a hard life. He had a very difficult life. He grew up in Algeria. Yung buhay niya ay naka-coincide doon sa Algerian Revolution. So he had to leave his homeland in Algeria, go to France, face discrimination, denounce siya ng mga taga-Paris, yung mga social dyan. Oh, you don't have the proper education. Saan ka nag-aaral? University of Algiers? What is that? Hindi ka Sorbonne, hindi ka Sciences Po. Wala pa naman, may Sciences Po pa noon. You know what I'm saying? Hindi ka University of Paris. So this guy faced a lot of discrimination. Minamalit siya. And you know what? At some point, he spoke out. He spoke out. He spoke up and he spoke out. And dami nagalit sa kanya, yung mga supporters niya. People turned against him. But he didn't care. He didn't care. Because he knew he had to do it. Even if it was not good for his career. Even if maybe what he did could have served the interests of the other side. Of course, in this case, leftist si Camus, right? So he said certain things na hindi tugma doon sa sinasabi ng mga liberals and leftists sa Paris. Nagalit yung mga liberals and leftists sa kanya. Inaccuse siya na you're enabling the other side by not sticking to us. But what Albert Camus was doing is that he was standing by his word and his conscience because he knew that speaking the truth sometimes means not standing with your friends who are not moving in the right direction. Wow, I just realized, why am I doing what I'm doing? Okay, sorry. Promise, this is not scripted, but yeah, that's what Camus did in his life. And reading his books really helped me a lot because there's nothing sure in life. Love life, career, nothing. When I started this meta, I had no idea anyone will watch me. Noong una nga, takot ako, my goodness, baka 1,000 lang manood, tapos pagtawanan pa ako. Yeah, but I knew for sure, hey, Darian, irrelevant, walang manonood dyan, ganun. Part of me is saying, nako, baka naman pahiya tayo, mga ganun. But you know what, I said, no, it's what I have to do. Election na, people have to have more time to have proper discussion. I cannot do this on TV. Because in TV, how much time do you have? 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. You're not gonna have meta time, right? So sabi ko, eto na, meta tayo. Live. No, not scripted, nothing. Nothing. The only thing I got closest to a script, which is not a script, yung notes ko. Para lang makita nyo, na siniseryoso kayo. The fact that I bring notebook and write things down, that means I'm taking you seriously. Nire-respeto ko kayo. Kasi kung puro freestyle lang, that means I'm just having fun here. No, but I take you guys seriously. And believe me, one of the guys who inspired me to do whatever I'm doing now, to get emotional in front of you, to speak out my heart, to hold my soul transparent before your eyes. Ay, ang ganda ng pros ko. Ayan na naman tayo eh. Wala, sinira ko na naman sarili. And yan na, ang ganda sana ng pasok. Then, wala. Binalahura ko yung sarili ko. Alright? Here I am, holding my soul transparent before your eyes, for you to witness, right? One guy that who really inspired me is this guy. My goodness. Represent. Yes, crush siya ng ex kong girlfriend, but whatever. Hindi ako. But that's not the reason. Hindi naman ako competitive masyado. Ano lang, medyo lang, but okay, whatever. I mean, for some reason kasi a lot of women I dated and fell in love with happened to be francophones. I mean, not francophile, like francophone, like they speak French, right? So obviously, Camus, Sartre, and all of these people are kind of in that. But ako, I started with Foucault really in college. But anyways, let's not go there. Tatama na, wag na tayo maghugot. Alam ko, meta tuto delikado pag maghugot tayo. But anyway, once I started really reading Camus, because I'll be honest, my love is really Russian literature. I love Russian literature. You're talking about 1,000, yung Anna Karenina, tsaka yung oh my goodness, tinapos ko yung diretso. 3-4 days tinapos na. Tulog, basta paggising niya, water konti, kain, tas basa ulit. I love Russian literature. But, when I started reading Camus in my older years, in my zaddy years, kasi nung binabasa ko itong mga Russian novels, di pa ako zaddy nun medyo fresh pa. Pero in my zaddy years, I started to go to Camus and all, the other novelists that I didn't pay as much attention to. I was familiar with his work, The Stranger. I was not very impressed with that book. But once I read The Plague and his philosophical work and all, parang boom, natamaan. I'm like, oh nga, no. There's nothing sure in life, guys. Don't do something because it's sure. It's okay to be a little bit sigurista, but not too much. Calculated risk. Yes, I get it. Yes, Ilocano ako. I understand calculated investment and risk. Yes, that's true. But don't do something just because it feels it's the safest thing to do. Do it because you know that's the right thing to do. You know it deep in your heart. So, kaya makikiamuso lang. Kaya for me, who cares about surveys? Who cares about Google Trends? Who cares? Who cares? Just vote. Just vote with your heart. Just vote with your heart. Go with what... Ito na, medyo mag-propose na ako ng Hemingway. Wag na lang. Ito, mag-ano na sana ako, mag-Fitzgerald. Boats against current. Alam mo yung like, favorite line ko talaga yun eh. Ito, mag-Fitzgerald tayo. Ako, isa pang love ko. Okay, si Fitzgerald. Nakaka-relate din kasi ako sa mga writers na yun. Kasi, by the way, of course, nakikita mo lahat ng mga writers na yun, medyo katulad natin, medyo hashtag, but they suffered in their life, and they suffered very much, but they produced beautiful art and beautiful ideas. So, I will end again on Camus, don't worry. But let me bring in Fitzgerald, because every time I hear this, it just moves me very much. And I must say, in fairness kay Leonardo DiCaprio, after watching yung Great Gatsby na believe ako sa kanya. No? Kasi he really played the role very well. Almost as good as, just as good as the book. It's just brilliant. Brilliant. Ito, medyo... May Gatsby ako dito, di ba? Ayan sa taas. Ayan, no? Ayan. And for me, this is one of the most beautiful works anywhere. Gatsby. It's... Okay. You know what happened in Gatsby, right? It's a guy, against all odds, he dreamed of reaching the stars, right? It's a tragic story, but the audacity, my God. Just the lines here in this book are just get me crazy. Please, wag kayong wag kayong umalis. Until I read this, wag kayong umalis. Walang ya. Ilabas mo nga, andito yan sa Kindle. You know what? I'm just gonna read it from here. You know what? I'm just gonna read it straight. Nainis na ako dito. Ito see? Na-highlight ko pa siya. This highlight is, my lord, this is 10-15 years ago. Hinighlight ko yun. I didn't even know that this is a favorite on Kindle or whatever. This is before the movie. Noon pa lang hinighlight ko siya. By the way, itong book ay hiram kay sorry, hindi ko binalik, hindi sa akin itong book pala na to Pero anyways, hinighlight ko. Makapal ang mukha ko pag hiniram ko, i-highlight ko. Nag-highlight talaga ako. Ito yung sinabi niya. Parang ayoko basahin, medyo... Whew! Andiyan pa kayo? Sorry Hindi, yung isa na lang basahin ko, medyo masyadong malakas ang dating na to sa akin. Mahirap na. Ito na lang basahin ko. Medyo masyadong emotional yan. Okay. Ito yung line na, so we beat on boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. No, you could see the hopelessness, the courage of hopelessness, right? To use a philosophical term that Zizek and all used. One second ayoko na. Sige, wag na. Oh my goodness. Sige, mag-comment lang kayo dyan, Guys, I just want to do this properly kasi. Kaya pasensya na, wala naman tayong production or anything like that. Okay, I'll just read na lang this part, no? Kasi it's haunting. It is really haunting because it speaks to every pain and frustration, suffering, struggle we have, right? I'm for sure pagtawa na naman tayo ng mga trolls dyan. Sorry, trolls, you're not getting at this with your bloggers, alright? Ewan ko na doon sa mga pretentious and all that, but you're not gonna get this stuff, alright? This line, I really love it, no? Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther. And then, one fine morning, and then So we beat on boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Things might seem a little bit depressing, things might not seem exciting, but what's important is to fight the good fight, man. That's the most important thing, promise. Wala, di ko dinala yung Andrew sorry. Andyan sa room. Okay Oh, by the way nag-release ng statement ng Pulse Asia. Oh, ayan na, nag-react na yung Pulse Asia. Ayan na, nag-react na. In-email sa akin to ng Pulse Asia ngayon lang. Bukas ko na basahin yan, masisira yung momentum natin. Ganda na momentum natin, Fitzgerald tayo eh. Wait lang Just this. Okay. So, sorry, kaka-email lang sa akin ng Pulse Asia nung kanilang statement on disinformation and all. Okay, balikan ko yan bukas Okay. For a second, let us move back again, okay? Sige, balikan ko si Fitzgerald ulit. Baka after elections. But I want to go back again to Camus, guys. My love, right? Literally intellectual. Fitzgerald din. Lodi ko rin yan. But just so that you don't accuse me of being sexist or whatever, I have a number of favorite female writers and all, especially historians that I'll talk about too, right? So don't worry about it. It's not just because dude pare tol chong bro kami, okay? Okay. So as I said a while ago, guys, we're gonna end now on this point kasi umaba naman siya. I wanted to just, again, real generosity toward the future lies in giving all to the present. If you care about the future of this country, make the right choice, no matter how difficult it is, no matter what surveys say, no matter what Google Trends said, whatever. All right? Don't take your frustration and hatred on other people, on experts, on people who are doing their job. Please, don't do that. Okay? Okay? And at the end of the day, that's what we're going to be judged by. When the moment came, or the moments came, did we go with our conscience or did we go with majority? Did we go with what we knew was right or going with what felt most convenient? Did we go with what is best for our future or what only makes us feel good about the present? Right? And you guys know very well what is the responsible thing to do. Alright? Maraming salamat.